This is Dr. Lewis at Coastal Wellness in Lisbon, and I just wanted to go over, I want to continue the series on what I call movement snacks or mobility scans or movement flows, whatever you want to call it. This is basically something that I would recommend people doing on a regular basis. It's not that this is necessary for everybody, but it's a good habit to get into, especially since we spend a lot of our time kind of just static through the day, whether we're working, writing, or just sitting on the couch, kind of watching TV at the end of the day. We spend a lot of time static and or immobile, and it can be beneficial to get your body moving a little bit more complicated fashion than just the seated posture or the standing posture. Exploring different ranges of motion that your body's capable of as a way to remind it that it's capable of that. Stimulate the joints and the muscles in these areas to help them wake up, to help just basically keep them in a little bit healthier of a tone than what they accumulate or what they tend to develop when we don't do anything. So let's get started. What we're going to do is go through a number of different ranges of motion for the neck, and I'm going to then do that or demonstrate those ranges of motion under gravity. Just a quick pause. I gotta apologize to Nat, my social media manager. She controls all the socials, and I talk way too fast when I do these. Nat, I'm sorry, I forgot again. I'm talking 100 miles a minute. So I hope you can keep up. All right, so let's get into this. We're gonna do some, a great idea is to have a foam roller at home. These are really cheap. They can be used for a lot of different things. They're not miracles, but they can be really beneficial. I like to use a foam roller to whirl at the thoracic spine before doing any neck exercises. Can be highly beneficial. I'm just gonna lay down on a flat surface, the foam roller a little bit below the shoulder blades. Arms are gonna go over the front of me. The foam roller is gonna be a little bit below the level of the scapula, so kind of the mid part of the upper back. I'm gonna cross my arms over the front, and I'm gonna lift the arms and the shoulders, the elbows, sorry, and it's gonna create some extension through the thoracic spine. As I do this, I might come back forward. I'm gonna take a few breaths as I get into this extended position. And come back. And the reason I want my arms lifting is this helps extend the thoracic spine. I don't want to just use the neck in this instance, so then we're not getting much movement in the thoracic spine. After a few repetitions, I'm going to roll downward around the level of the scapula. Again, a few lifts. And then again, rolling down a bit further, a few more lifts. Okay? Another way of doing something similar to that is to find a chair or a surface. Place your elbows on the top of the surface, walk your knees backwards, and then we're just going to keep the elbows there. We're going to let the chest fall down in between the arms, like this. Again, you can see my thoracic spine goes into a bit of extension here. So we're just doing a few repetitions. You might hear some cracks in the upper back when this happens. Don't be scared of that. It's just these joints mobilizing, a little bit of air being released as the pressure is, as we pressure into more movement or into more range of motion. And then we're going to go on to our neck ranges of motion. So we can do this seated, we can do this laying down, but I'm going to start seated. So we're just going to do all the ranges of motion of the neck, which we're going to start with forward flexion, bringing the chin down towards the chest. You can allow the upper back to round a little bit with this, and then looking upwards so the chin goes upwards and backwards. Try to make sure the whole neck is involved in this. Sometimes people will just get this range of motion happening at the upper part of the neck, but I really want to see some extension through the neck. If you feel pain with any of these ranges of motion, don't force your way through that pain, but brush up against it, push a little bit into it, and then come away from it, okay? As a general rule, sometimes when we're doing exercises, we might feel painful or after we do those exercises or during. This is your body kind of fighting against that range of motion, and because you might be new to this movement. So give yourself some time, give it a few days, do some of these exercises, get a good rest, sleep, and reevaluate the next day to see if they were working, okay? We might get some aggravations after we're starting to push into these ranges of motion that they're not so comfortable with. It can be a really good idea to come in and get an adjustment or a few adjustments if that's the case, or have an evaluation at least to see if that's necessary. But let's continue. We're going to go through lateral flexion now, so we're just bringing the ear down towards the shoulder, okay? And then the other side. Okay, one side might feel a bit easier than the other. That's okay. Again, we can be doing 12, 15 repetitions of this. And if you can do a few rounds, maybe it'll take you 10, 15 minutes. But if you can just do one, fine. Again, now we're going to go through rotations, looking over to one side and the other side. Again, if you're feeling pain or restriction, just brush up against that end range, push into it a little bit, hold if you want to, and then back in the other direction. Then we're going to go through translation. So we're just going to bring the chin forward and backwards here. The chest remains more or less stable here, and we're going to bring the chin forward and tuck it in. Chin forward, tuck it in. Chin forward, tuck it in. Okay. After this, we're going to do this under gravity, or we're going to do this kind of horizontal so that we're fighting a bit against gravity. And we can also advance this to doing band resisted stuff, although that's outside the scope of this video. This is just a movement scan for you to gain some information about what's going on in your body. And then if you notice any areas that are really painful, restricted, maybe we're spending a bit more time on those areas, or using some banded resisted stuff or some weighted stuff to get a little bit more of an intense stimulus or stretch into those areas. So I'm just going to go flat. Now, I luckily have a bed here, but we can do this on the bed at home. I actually have a table here, but we can do this on a bench at the gym. We can do this at your bed at home or the couch if you have one that allows you to do this. My arms are just going to relax here. I'm going to go through those same ranges of motion, bringing the head forward or allowing the head to round forward. And then I'm going into extension with the neck. Forward, extending, forward, extending. And I'm going to pause in neutral position. I'm going to do some lateral bending, so bringing the ear down towards the shoulder. The other side. Again, maybe 12, 15 repetitions. And we're going to pause in the middle and do some rotations side to side. Pushing into that range of motion. Pausing. It's a little bit more difficult for me on the right side. So I'm holding and pressing into that range. And I'm doing some forward and backward translations here. And then you're going back to your day. So try to incorporate that as a little bit of a routine, add it into some of the other ones that we've done. You can take a pause and do some movement scans in the morning or through the day, starting from the lower back, working your way up to the upper back and finishing the neck. Great, and a good way to warm up prior to gym as well, or prior to working out as well, whether you're doing yoga, Pilates, or weighted workout. Spending 5-10 minutes doing some of these movements can be really beneficial to give you a little more information about what you are maybe going to have to work on that day, or maybe we should be aware of doing a bit more exercise for a specific area. But anyway, hope that was helpful. Try it out. Let us know if you have any questions. All the best, everybody.